Okay, I've been telling you all hour, you can't have me sitting here and not talking about money, and you need to know what to do with your money. It's a good time to start thinking about this. The stock market is up about 20% since the beginning of the year. So if you decide this is the time to look at your 401k, you might be surprised to see that you've done well if you stuck to an investment strategy. If you didn't have an investment strategy, you should have one. And something worth thinking about is buying a house. I'm talking to Karen Lee now. She's the owner of Karen Lee and Associates. She's a financial planner. Karen, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's never a bad time. We're so exhausted by all of the money stuff that's happened in the last year that so many people are just not engaging fully. But I think there's this interesting combination of low interest rates, remarkably low mortgage rates, and a housing market that is coming close to an inflection point, quite possibly, that for some people in the country might make it a good time for them to buy a house.
Absolutely, Allie. With the interest rates at, what, a 50-year low,
yep,
and the opportunity with houses that have come way off of a high value, it couldn't be a better time, as long as you're in the right situation.
Let's talk about the right situation. What puts someone in the right situation to buy a house?
I read your blog about this, and you were spot on. If you have been saving up cash, because we want to go in with that 20% down.
And at least, in some cases, they're asking more, but you got to have 20% down.
And you're renting, or you're relocating. Maybe you're with a company who's going to pay for the relocation. You don't have to worry about selling your house. Per first-time home buyers, you've got the credit.
Yep. And that's an $8,000 credit that's been extended now. It's going to expire. Now it goes till April.
Correct.
So there are a few things that come together that could make this a worthwhile deal. Who would you advise not to be getting involved in buying a house right now?
Well, I think the person who thinks that they're going to make some money real quick, the typical American get-rich-quick scheme. Let's run out and buy a house at this deflated value. I'll turn around in a year and flip it. And I think they're going to be sorely disappointed because I don't think the housing market's going to come back up that quickly.
Right.
I actually think the values that we're at right now are probably truer to true value than what they were at the top of the market.
Let's talk about the other side of the equation. People constantly call me and talk about getting involved in the market right now or buying gold right now. It doesn't tend to be the right strategy for investing. If you're looking at markets and you're thinking things are interesting, how do you approach this?
Well, it's been an amazing time in the market to watch the panic that hit between October and March.
Yep.
And then the people you just said that stuck with their strategy, and they're within about 20% of their high water mark from November '07. People are calling me and saying, I can't believe how good my account looks because they stuck with their strategy. So it might be a good time to evaluate your risk tolerance. If you panicked during this time, maybe you did go in a little overly invested to stocks, might be a good time to do some rebalancing.
You say risk tolerance. It's the starting point for an investor.
Absolutely.
It's the first thing you do. You don't go and buy a stock and look at the ticker. You go in and how does one evaluate the risk tolerance? What does that mean?
Well, I can only tell you, having been doing this for a long time as an advisor, they first start with talking to an advisor. The advisor typically has some kind of personality questionnaire that helps walk them through how will I handle that low when it hits.
And when you say personality questionnaire, it could be about whether you like roller coasters versus mini golf.
Absolutely.
What kind of, are you a risk taker? Because if you're not, you don't want to get involved in investments that are going to keep you up at night.
Correct. And the reason it's important right now to relook at, maybe years ago, the risk tolerance that you set was that things kind of plummeted a little more deeply than some of us were used to. So maybe our tolerance has changed a little bit, and we need to make things a little more moderate in our portfolio.
But with a market that's up 20% since the beginning of the year, that's an unusual market. Up 60% since the March lows. Would you be advising people to be investing right now?
Well, absolutely, based on their time horizon. Is this, again, for tomorrow, for a year from now? Of course not. We would never want to put that money in the market. Is this your retirement? You're in your 30s, 40s? Of course. Do we not think the market in 20 years will be higher than it is today?
How do you treat the question of gold? You must get that too.
I do, and we certainly have some people who wanted to get involved in gold. Gold's typically that hedge against inflation. It hasn't done as well performance-wise as the overall market. I got to tell you, I think if a person wants to have a portion of their investments in gold, it should be part of their strategy for the long term, not just jump in, jump out.
There's a theme I'm getting from you, and that is the long term.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for sharing some good advice with our viewers.
Thank you.
Let's check in once more with Chad Myers, keeping an eye on your travel plans.